Nowadays, we see new military miracle, the Battle of Kursk 2024. What might be Ukraine's strategic and operational objectives? Let me introduce myself. My name is Irina Uzlova, and it's a pleasure to welcome for us political strategist Michael Sheitelman. Michael, hello, glad to see you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, hi. Great.
And a short view for our viewers, what I mean when I say new military miracle. Acting governor of the Kursk region, Alexei Smirnov, told Russian dictator Vladimir Putin about the results of Ukraine's invasion of Russia. According to him, 480 square kilometers of territory and 28 settlements were captured by Ukrainian forces. Also, the fate of 2,000 Russians who are in the territory under the control of Ukraine is not known. According to him, 180,000 people are subject to evacuation in the region. But Putin cruelly interrupted the acting governor of the Kursk region, Smirnov, when he spoke about the penetration of the Apple. "Listen, Alexei Borisovich," said Putin, "this military department will report to us what width and depth there is. You tell us about the socio-economic situation and helping people," he said, Putin, and he was really angry. The attack in the Kursk region has, to put it mildly, discouraged Putin and the military leadership of the Russian Federation built rights for us. In the Kursk region, for several days now, there is total chaos and misunderstanding of what and want to do next. We see this article in Bild. So, Ukraine forces captured Kurshina for a long time and they are not going to leave it. Forbes tells us about it. Still official Ukrainian silent regarding military operations on Russian territory, the head of Ukraine's armed forces, Alexander Syrsky, releases photo with a cryptic "We continue the operation," and Zelensky claims war is being pushed into Russian territory. And finally, The Times said that the invasion of Russian territory in the Kursk region is the most risky decision of Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. So, Michael, why does Putin not want to hear about the Kursk offensive? Because he doesn't control anything anymore. And is the invasion of Russian territory in the Kursk region the most risky or one of the most successful decisions of Vladimir Zelensky and Ukrainian forces?
Well, the behavior of Putin looks like strategy. That is information strategy of Kremlin, of Russian Federation. First couple of days, we didn't have any strategy. So some reporters from a battleground, we reported a lot of information about killed Russian soldiers, about captured Russian soldiers, and there was a real panic in Kursk region. So people started self-evacuate themselves. They have new word, self-evacuation. Yeah, so they started self-evacuate themselves, and tens of thousands of Russians from Kursk region were self-evacuated. But it was about Friday when Kremlin stopped all of this, this testimony from different sides, and there was a strategic information line that we will keep silence about that. And they keep silence now. Like anything, just nothing happens in the region. So Ukrainian side also keeps silence, but it was military silence, official military silence. But Russian side now keeps silence. But in this case, when we watched this meeting of Mr. Putin with his ministers and the chief of the region, chief of the region, that was the meeting of reality with information strategy. Because in Kremlin, we live in information strategy of silence. But in Kursk region, they live in military reality, in reality of war. And this governor, he lives in military reality, in reality of war. He have to decide any problems of these people, of local people. They come to this guy, to this governor, and they demand.
Yes. But
you should evacuate us. You should organize some defense. But he can't organize any defense. He doesn't have any army of himself, and he doesn't have enough funds for evacuation and enough vehicles, for example, because most of money in Russia, it is very vertical, and most of money is federal money, not the local. They have not big state budget. And Kursk region is very poor, rather poor region, not like Moscow, for example.
Yes.
So it was the place then reality first time met the Kremlin information strategy. And Putin was surprised. Like, wow, but everybody have this strategy, now. So, but this governor, he didn't follow the strategy. What about decision of Mr. Zelensky? Is it a chance? Yeah, it is chance and risk, obviously. But the risky study of this operation is passed over. So the risky study was first couple of days. Then Ukrainian forces incursed in Russian territory. Incursed, it was very sudden, not just invasion, but incursion to Russian territory. And they went through the front line, and that was very, very dangerous. It was really dangerous. But after Ukrainian army came inside Kursk region, inside Russian territory, and captured this territory of 40 kilometer long, and about 10 or more kilometer in deep to the Russian territory. So now it is just one more front line. So for Ukrainian soldiers and for Ukrainian army, it is rather normal situation, because they had exactly the same situation a week ago. They had the same situation, but on Ukrainian territory. Now they have the same, but on the Russian territory. So another risk was our relationship, Ukrainian relationship with US, with Germany, with other NATO partners. But obviously all NATO partners and United States and Germany and UK, they supported this operation. Nobody said Ukraine didn't have a right to use our tanks, for example, because Ukrainian army uses German tanks, Ukrainian army uses American armed vehicles on the Russian territory. Nobody know now, was it allowed officially by White House or by Pentagon, or vice versa? Or first of all, Ukrainian army used that, and just afterward, they received the permission from Western governments. But now it looks like, okay, Ukrainian army and Ukrainian government has permission, certainly. So now all the risks, they are past.
But Politico wrote a few days ago that our allies gave us green lights, and Germany are among them. Even calm Germany says that it's no problem, because now our tanks, our Leopards are Ukrainian vehicles, because they are on Ukrainian territory, and that only their rights how to use him to defend themselves. But Medvedev says that in nearest future, Russian tanks will be on Germany squares, but nobody believes him at all, really.
First, Politico reported that after the incursion to the Russian territory, not before. So again, we didn't know if we received this permission before or just in fact. Okay, we have the invasion, so we have a permission. That is first. Second, all of this word was said not by not by German government, but by German parliament member, who he is a chairman of war committee or defense committee. He is the chairman of defense committee, but still he is not he is not government member. But the decision like that, only government could take this decision. And we didn't hear nothing from government officials. Speaking about Mr. Medvedev answer, by the way, it was the very first answer, the first day of invasion. And Mr. Medvedev, he not a toy or something, or caricature personage, but Mr. Medvedev is Putin's right-hand man, former president of Russia, and he is the closest advisor of Mr. Putin, according to Mr. Biden's speech. Mr. Biden said that Mr. Medvedev is the closest advisor of Mr. Putin. And Mr. Medvedev said that as an answer to this invasion, Russian most modern tanks will go to Berlin, to Germany, to Berlin. The good news for German population that Russia almost doesn't have any modern tanks. They produce modern tanks, T-90, but this model they produce 28 tanks per year, 28 per year, which means around 2 tanks per month. So there will be not a lot of tanks in Berlin.
According to reaction of China, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, China was calm near 6 days, and today we see neutral and not very strong reaction like usual, like it's very about China. China is closely monitoring the situation developing in Russian Kursk region, they say, and calls on all parties to de-escalate. As usual, you know, this was announced by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, and China has taken note of the relevant situation in the Kursk region of Russia, says the comment of Foreign Policy Department. It emphasized that China's position on the Ukrainian issue remains consistent and clear. The Chinese side calls on all parties to abide by 3 principles of cooling the situation, that is, no spillover of the battlefield, no escalation of the war, and no fire on all sides, the commentary states. Does it mean that Putin is alone in his battle on Kursk region?
At least it means that China's foreign ministry were not ready to advocate Russia when Russia does not advocate itself. If we had another situation, for example, Russia proclaimed a total war against Ukraine, for example, I mean, from formal point of view, or proclaimed nuclear war or something, then also Chinese answer were different. But in this case, then we have a silence of Kremlin. So why Chinese government should behave other way? So they just support the general line of Russian propaganda to keep silence. That's it.
Maybe Iran or North Korea will help Putin in Kursk offensive, or no?
We have no tools for that, because okay, we have shells, we have missiles, and North Korea they sent missiles and shells to Russian army, and Iran sells drones to Russian army and shells to Russian army. Yes, in fact, it works, but they use it anyway. With our invasion to Kursk region or without our invasion in Kursk region. For example, just a couple of days ago, couple of nights ago, Kyiv was bombed by North Korean missiles. There were 3 North Korean ballistic missiles, and they were shot down by Patriot system, counter missile system, but it was not the first time and not the last time when Russia uses these missiles exactly towards Kyiv. So they not only, I mean, Russian military forces, they not only speak like nothing happens, but they also behave like nothing happens. Like, okay, now Kursk region, it is one more battlefield. Let's have one more battlefield. Like not anything special happens, that this is Russian territory. So all the world also behave the same. If it is not anything special for Mr. Putin and for a Russian state, so why it should be anything special for United Nations, for example, or for our allies in the West? So all these countries like Iran and North Korea and Belarus, by the way, they help Russia in their war against Ukraine, certainly. They are allies. They are military allies of Russia. They have only three direct military allies: Iran, North Korea, and Belarus. But they supply everything that they have. They just supplied everything what they have a chance to supply.
And what about Lukashenko? How does Putin want to use him now? And what is the role of Belarus in the war for the Kursk region?
Yeah, this guy Lukashenko, who is self-proclaimed president of Belarus, during all of this war, he on one hand support Russia. On the other hand, he continued his negotiation also with Ukraine and also with European Union, at least. Not I don't know about United States, but. And this time it was the same. Lukashenko said that Ukraine attacked also Belarusian territory by drones. And he said that this attack was against the peace agreement between Belarus and Ukraine. So it was the first time we heard about peace agreement between Belarus and Ukraine. Yeah. By the way, Belarusian opposition parties and Belarusian opposition media, they reported that there was no such attack. There was not any attack by Ukrainian drones toward Belarusian territory. But obviously, all of this proclamation about Ukrainian attack towards Belarusian territory was connected to this Kursk region invasion. Because Mr. Putin or his team, they asked Lukashenko to start not a war, but let's say cold war on the border between Belarus and Ukraine to withdraw Ukrainian forces to this border with Belarus. So Belarusian dictator, let's say dictator,
yes.
This is easier, yeah?
Self-proclaimed
Belarusian dictator, he first of all, he said that Ukraine started military aggression against Belarus. Second, he sent his troops to the border, in fact. And third, I heard today that they also sent some Belarusian troops to Russia, but for some, I don't know, for some reason, but not to participate in war, but still, they sent some Belarusian military forces to Russia.
Maybe training.
So they produce some tension on this border, and this is a goal of Lukashenko, is to organize some tension of Ukraine-Belarus border. And I believed in some additional goal. Was today Ukrainian army is in Kursk region, but Ukrainian army also this morning, I believe it was, also captured some small villages in other regions of Russia, in Belgorod region. And today there was a report about Bryansk region, one more region on the border. And obviously they fear in Kremlin that Ukrainian army would also invade Russia via Belarus. So on the north of Ukraine, you have a border, Ukraine and Belarusian border. So Ukrainian army, in theory, just in theory, could go through Belarus towards Moscow, almost directly toward Moscow. And this is the biggest fear of Mr. Putin now, I believe.
And I reminded that we have Putin has or maybe had such organization like the Collective Security Treaty Organization. Armenia is not among them, but Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan are among their former participants. And why this organization of the Collective Security Treaty Organization not rush to save Putin and help him?
Yeah, let's say to our viewers that this organization, it is something like Russian NATO. Like, in Soviet time there was a Warsaw Agreement, which was the agreement of Soviet states like Poland, Hungary, and Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia this time, and Soviet Union. So now they have the almost the same agreement, but we have only 6 or 7 countries, which are mostly Central Asian countries: Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, not Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan. And we have as a member also Armenian Caucasus and Belarus and Russia. So totally it is 6 countries. And from formal point of view, when Ukraine started its invasion to Russian territory, the real Russian territory, not the occupied territory like Crimea, but the real Russian territory. So from formal point of view, Russia could ask these allies from this agreement to participate in this war, to send the troops to Kursk region. But let's go country by country. Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan, first of all, we don't have enough troops to send it from Central Asia, so it is useless. Armenia, if Putin asks Armenia to send troops, so Armenia rather will withdraw from this agreement and not send the troops, because Russia didn't help Armenia in their war against Azerbaijan last year. And Belarus, it is the only ally which will be, in theory, ready to send the troops. And Mr. Lukashenko can't refuse. He can't say to Mr. Putin, no, I don't send the troops. I don't like this war. So probably Belarus in this case sends the troops to Kursk region. But in this case, Belarus is part of this war officially. From this moment, Belarus is part of this war officially. And that means that Ukrainian forces will bomb Belarus and send missiles to Belarusian territory and send drones to Belarusian territory and destroy oil production and gasoline production in Belarusian territory. And Russia now, they live from Belarusian gasoline because they don't have enough their own gasoline, because Ukraine destroyed 20% of Russian gasoline production. But in Belarus, we have 2 huge manufacturers in Mozar and Novopolotsk, and they are very short distance from Ukrainian border. So it is during one night, both of this production will be destroyed. And another factor that also Ukrainian forces, they can go through Belarus, which has very small army, only 60,000 troops, compared to 1 million of Ukrainian army, and go through Belarus towards Moscow and Smolensk region, which will be Kursk region operation multiplied 10, let's say.
I think that is there enough decisive sanctions from our partners against Lukashenko and his regime?
I believe I don't have these facts. I can't say I read any paper officially, but I strongly believe that there is some agreement between European Union, Belarus, and Ukraine that European Union does not use any new sanction after 2022 against Belarus, and Belarus from their side, they don't give a permission to Russian army to use Belarusian territory for invasion to Ukraine first, and second for bombing Ukraine from military planes, because at the beginning of the war, Russia, they used airfields in Belarusian territory first, and second, they used Belarusian territory for Iskander missiles, ballistic missiles, to bomb Ukraine, most of territory of Ukraine. So now we have this, let's say, secret agreement. I believe that we have this secret agreement. And Mr. Lukashenko, then he spoke last week, he mentioned this agreement, in fact. So European Union will not use any new sanction before Belarus will take part in this war.
Like in full scale. Can we say now then we are watching the process when democracies are counter-attacking such regimes of dictators?
No, never. Never in this world. Really, we have United Nations, and United Nations, this is our security system. Global security system is United Nations. And then you look at the the papers of how to say that, I don't know really, the agreement of United Nations agreement. So we don't find anything about like that, like this you say now, yeah? Mm-hmm. We have a definition of military aggression, and this definition was used against Russia just at the beginning of the military aggression of Russia. So United Nations decided, okay, this war is military aggression. But after this point, we have not second point that Western countries could use the military force against the aggressor. No, we have not this point, this paragraph in the United Nations agreement. That's a problem. But I believe that after this war and after the war in the Middle East, which also now in the middle of this war, we have almost a year when it started from Gaza Strip. So I believe that we will change these rules. And United States representative in United Nations, they offered the new, let's say, world order, yeah, for all the nations. But we have a long way before us for a new security system, global security system.
I know that you analyzed in details which are our main goals in this Kursk offensive operation, which are they, and can we say that this offensive raise our stakes in different questions and make us stronger?
Yeah, I believe that most of our goals, they are military, just military goals. First is to withdraw Russian troops from their offensive efforts inside Ukraine. Russia have something like it. It depends on which week we are speaking, but it has from 6 till 8 offensive directions inside Ukraine, and they have huge force in each direction. But then when we invaded to Russia itself, so Russians, they should withdraw part of their invasion from their offensive forces from Ukraine, and it is difficult. It is difficult because the Russians, they are not strong in logistic, and we have seen, like in the first week of our invasion to Kursk region, we have had a lot of huge strikes towards Russian troops, towards Russian cars and towards Russian tanks, who were moved from Ukraine towards Kursk region. It is first. Second, we want really, like President Zelensky said, we want to replace a war from Ukrainian territory to Russian territory. Now, Russians, they just totally bomb and destroy all the Ukrainian cities. Mm-hmm. When they move their front line, they just totally destroy cities. They occupied only one city this year, in 2024, which is the city of Avdiivka, and one city last year, which was the city of Bakhmut. But they totally destroyed these cities. Now, they should destroy Russian cities, not Ukrainian cities. For example, Sudzha, the city of just 5,000 people, and Ukrainian troops captured this city, and Russia, for a recapture this city, we have only one way. We don't know how to manage war other way. So we could only destroy this city totally, just totally destroy. Yes. The same, not only with cities, but with important infrastructure objects in the Kursk region. The most known example is gas. It is not power gas station, but it is like pump gas station. They have a pipeline of gas from Siberia towards Europe, mm-hmm. and it goes exactly through Kursk region. And Ukrainian army captured this pump station on this. This is the biggest pump station in Russian territory at all. So for recapture this, we should destroy also the pump gas station and to stop export of gas to Europe. and it means to lose some billions of dollars of Russian budget, which is not so big now because of this war. So this is additional reason for us, for Ukraine. And then we are speaking about political goal. I heard a lot of voices like, okay, now Ukraine has a stronger position in negotiation.
Yes,
but we don't have any negotiation.
Yes.
We don't have any negotiation. And Mr. Putin, by the way, today in this meeting, which you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, Mr. Putin said, we can't have negotiation with people who have a war against civil population, with people who destroy civil infrastructure objects, and with people who attack nuclear stations.
Yes, he talked about himself,
Just a second, but it is exactly the description of Russia.
Yes.
Russia captured 2 nuclear stations in Ukraine, Chernobyl and Zaporozhye. Russia destroyed all of our power stations, I mean gas and coal power stations. And Russia every day attack civil population. Every day, just every day. So if they can't go to negotiation against these people, so we also can't go to negotiation against the same people of Russian Federation. But seriously speaking, I believe that only one possible, let's say, one possible opportunity we can see towards this negotiation. And this opportunity mentioned Carl Bildt in his tweet last couple of days, it was a couple of days ago. He said that now Ukraine and Russia could exchange territories, exchange occupied territories, but on principle, all of them to all of them.
Yes.
Like, okay, Ukraine is ready to recapture all of occupied Russian territories of Kursk district and of Belgorod district and Bryansk district. But Russia, for the same reason, should recapture all the territory of Crimea, Donbass, Kherson, Zaporozhye and Kharkiv districts. All of them till all of them, not square kilometer to square kilometer. No, just all of them till all of them. That's the only opportunity we can see.
Yes, and it will be the most right scenery and realistic and according to our reality, not Putin territorial reality, ill reality, for his opinion. Michael, thank you very much for this interview. Thank you for your time and for your position. See you next week. Goodbye.
Thank you, Irina.
Michael Sheitelman, political strategist, and Irina Uzlova, my name. Thank you for viewing, thank you for your comments and for your attention. We will be waiting for you next week, so let's see.